clearly did not know how the fentanyl got into her husband's body. The article tells us, quote, to prove their case, prosecutors relied largely on circumstantial evidence to tie her to Eric Richins' death. Cases based on direct evidence are not necessarily stronger than those that rely on circumstantial evidence, legal experts say. Unlike direct evidence, such as eyewitnesses or recordings of a crime, circumstantial cases require jurors to determine a defendant's guilt by weaving together indirect evidence. In Corey Richins' case, prosecutors focused on potential motives for Corey Richins to kill her husband, and the actions they said show that she had a guilty conscience after his death, both elements that can illustrate a defendant's state of mind. They also used digital records to corroborate key witness testimony, which strengthened their circumstantial case. Quote, all of these things together start to add up, and the prosecution builds this huge mountain, end quote. And you should know that in this particular case, they relied on things like the fact that she was in financial distress, that she had been having an affair, that he apparently wanted a divorce, that she was, as you heard, grieving differently or not at all. They also found a life insurance policy deemed to be fraudulent. Now, I'm sure her attorney argued that it was just a clerical error or whatever, but they found it to be fraudulent. And of course, she was set to inherit millions with him gone. The star witness in the case was actually a housekeeper named Carmen, who testified how Corey would come to her and ask her to buy drugs on her behalf, which allowed them to then speculate that this is how she got her hands on an illicit street drug. Now, all of that is not to suggest that Erica directly murdered Charlie, but it is to say that were it not for Eric Richins' actual friends, siblings, the housekeeper, even Corey Richins' friends who turned on her and said, no, something is not right. She's not behaving correctly. Something is off. People who were willing to stand up and do what you guys describe as immoral or evil and demanding a further investigation when nothing makes sense. It hadn't compiled those other facts were it not for their willingness to show text messages, private correspondences from Eric, showing those messages to the public, to the investigative team, and to refuse some foregone conclusion that spouses simply would never have a hand in the murder of one another, which actually flies in the face of reality. The reality is that you're most likely to be murdered by someone you know. That's just a fact of life. But were it not for those people who did not accept the narrative of his accidental ingestion of fentanyl, Corey Richins, the woman that you believe should be hanged for poisoning her husband on the basis of circumstantial evidence, would probably today be considered a brave single mother trying to clean up the mess left behind by her husband's untimely death. And so what I would say is, here is what I know. Grieving widows do not lie about threats that their husbands were facing the night before their death. They don't lie about that stuff. Grieving widows do not make up quotations that the surgeon never said about a Superman neck to manage PR, least of all on the day that they're burying their husbands. I know enough to know that those things simply don't make sense, and I refuse to pretend otherwise. So since you are now in the habit of calling people out publicly for caring, I thought that I should respond and encourage those people to keep going. It's okay if you get some things wrong, but keep going. Go Max, do it for Charlie. Believe me when I say that Charlie would want you guys to. We'll be right back after a break. All right, you guys, this episode is brought to you by Native Path Grass-Fed Collagen for better bones, joints, skin, hair, and nails. Have you noticed that your skin is losing some of its glow, that your nails and hair are maybe feeling weaker, or that it's easier to tweak a joint or pull a muscle? Well, right around age 30, our bodies start producing less collagen every year. By the time most people reach 60, they've lost about half. That's why I use Native Path Collagen. It was created by Chad Walding, a doctor of physical therapy who spent years trying to find a clean collagen supplement for his patients. When he couldn't, he decided to make one himself. The label has one ingredient, so there's no fillers, no additives, and is third-party tested. It only takes 10 seconds to add to my routine. It dissolves instantly in any beverage. So if you want stronger nails, healthier-looking skin, less joint discomfort, and even improved DEXA scans, go to getnative.com/Candace right now. Is for my listeners today. Again, that's getnativepath.com/Candace. Just last week, in case you didn't know, declassified CIA documents caused outrage after revealing the connections between parasites and cancer have been intentionally hidden for decades. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know that simple, effective anti-parasitics are a massive threat to their bottom line. They'd rather treat your individual symptoms for years with pharmaceuticals rather than address the parasitic root that's causing and actually driving the chronic illness crisis. This discovery proves that a parasite infestation is not just a small issue, it is actually the root cause for a plethora of chronic ailments. When these invaders stay in your body, they trigger the kind of deep-seated inflammation and cellular damage that leads to long-term illness. It is time to stop being a profit center for Big Pharma and start taking your terrain back with Purge Advanced Parasite Cleanse. This protocol targets the parasites that the establishment refuses to acknowledge, flushing out the toxins and restoring the vital energy that's been stolen from you. Head to purgestore.com/Candace to receive 15% off your order, plus a free bottle of Digestzymes, plus their ultimate gut support. That's purgestore.com/Candace. All right, guys, top comments from our episode yesterday. Number one, I loved this. Someone wrote, so we are not supposed to attack Erica Kirk because she's a widow, but even though Joe Kent is a widow, we can attack him because he is anti-war. Got it. Look, I don't write the rules, but yeah, they are this ridiculous. They just make them up as they go along. And Lady Ray Perland writes, the notion of being called a Nazi because you don't want to go to war is wild. Yeah, Nazi just has no meaning. It's like, just everybody, okay, we're all Nazis. Okay, cool. Give us our Hugo Boss. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Nazi. It has no meaning. It doesn't land. Nobody cares anymore. Like, there is just no appetite for being shocked when someone is called a Nazi anymore. Also, jumping into comments for this episode, actually, I do want to shout out some people. I want to say that this series has been made possible by just so many people around the world that have given us little tidbits, people online who have similarly been fighting for justice for Charlie. And all of these small accounts, I just feel like they're never going to get a ton of credit for the things that they have done and how they have assisted various things. So today I just wanted to shout out, and I should be doing more shout outs, but _ Lynn's Mac on Twitter goes by Real Truth, Real Justice. I just wanted to shout her out in particular for the hashtag Justice for Charlie. There are so many accounts that are like this, and Lynn's Mac is a real one. I'll leave it at that. And to get into today's comments, after Mrs. W writes, after the last two episodes, I'm starting to wonder if you're pregnant again. Pregnant Candace is fire, and I'm so here for it. Love you so much. Go Max. That's so funny. My PR person called me and told me that he said the exact same thing this morning, and I was like, man, I really have a pregnant reputation. Like, if I have been fired up lately. Seriously, I feel you guys. Everyone's saying that is so funny, though. I see you guys in the comments. She must be pregnant. She must be pregnant. Jenna Ped writes, I so wish I could hear you speak and pray tomorrow at the Catholic for Catholics event. I have been offering my daily masses for you and your family, offering my mass for you tomorrow on the Feast of St. Joseph. Truth wins. Christ is King. Mary is Queen of Heaven and Earth. Keep going, Max. Thank you so much. And also, all of the emails from Catholic World make me so happy. I did want to show this email, not the email, but the picture, because it made me really happy. I hope she doesn't mind. It was just one of our fans, Credo Catholic. She purchased our I Told My Priest I Would Chill sweatshirt and then like snapped a picture with her priest, and it's just adorable. So I just wanted to show that. And she's like, I'm like you, I'm super feisty, and they just look very happy here. It just was a bright spot in my morning. So there you have it. Speaking of which, if you would like to get your own gear or your own kit, we've actually just dropped our Make Him a Sandwich line and all of our gear, which looks really good, by the way. Look at online. Not bad. For the people that actually cook like I do. Look at that. Very good quality. We are stepping the game up. Look at that. You guys can head to CandaceOwens.com, and yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. We are really trying to step it up the merch game this year, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Josie writes, James first. James the Least writes, Joe Kent, Carrie, Pregene Bowler, Candace, and others are going to witness for faith tomorrow on enemy territory. Surround and protect them with your prayers. Christ is King. Truly do pray. I mean, it's just, like I said, so crazy the way that they have attacked.
Donald Trump's allies are fleeing away from him in regards to the Iran war. In fact, the most damning resignation that happened Tuesday morning came from his own peeps. Check this out. This was a big announcement. Joe Kent, who who is the director of National Counterterrorism Center, he resigned Tuesday morning. He resigned in protest of the Iran war. I want to take you back to what Joe said about being against putting boots on the ground, and then I'm going to show you his statement.
That is a terrible idea. U.S. boots should not be on the ground inside Israel. The THAAD missile system can be operated from Jordan, where our troops aren't under direct attack, or it can be operated offshore in the Mediterranean. Putting boots on the ground, that is essentially an act of war, because what happens when a Iranian ballistic missile hits them or when one of the proxy groups hits them? Then next thing you know, we're at war that no one voted for. It's Congress's job to ensure that there's a check on the executive branch, regardless of who's in power, to ensure that our troops aren't blindly led off to war as we had for the previous 20 years. That is a terrible idea. U.S. boots should not.
Yeah. So you guys hear this? Okay. So this guy, Joe Kent, he was a big Trump supporter. He also ran for Congress. This guy just resigned. And it is really big news because of what he said in his statement. So you're starting to see some of those allies that Donald Trump had push back against him. And Joe isn't the first, and he won't be the last. After much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor to serve under POTUS, and he's talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and leading the professionals at NCTC. May God bless America. However, when you look at Joe's statement, let's get into this. After much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. That part there, I think, is one of the most damning things, but it's true that he said, because he's basically telling everybody else that Israel has America by the balls, right? If you can imagine, Joe Kent is being heavily attacked right now online. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. That's the hilarious part here, is that he actually thinks this was a win. Like killing Soleimani, that just escalated things. And defeating ISIS is a product of Israel. So it's not that Joe is all aware, right? Earlier in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that boldly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the U.S. and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie, and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into a disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward chaos. Hamas. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve your great nation. So that is the resignation there of Joe Kent, big Trump supporter, who is out. That is one of the allies that just, boop, I'm out, not feeling this, walked away. Now, I will say this, I don't believe that Donald Trump was tricked or duped. I don't know why people keep saying that. I think that Donald Trump knew exactly what he's going to do the moment he took that money from Miriam Adelson. Miriam Adelson wanted the United States to go to war with Iran. Donald Trump didn't take that money with not being well aware of that. So we have to get out of this talking point that Donald Trump was tricked. He's a grown-ass man. He knew what he was walking into. But Joe was gone. That says something. That's the director of national intelligence, national counterism. He's out.
Hey,
Hey,
on the
So-
way.
where you at?
Hostile.
I'm still okay. All right, love you.
That's it?
Yes, I'll go up your grass.
Okay, yes.
Love you.
I'll be
I'm
there
going
in
back
about
up to
15
the-
minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom and step down. Call you when I get after I get out of the bathroom. Okay.
Okay, cool, yep. Love you.
All right.
Yes.
Love you. God bless you.
Thank you, love you. God bless you. Oh, whoa, whoa, don't put boots on the ground.
Donald Trump is losing allies left and right because of this war with Iran. Now, of course, Joe Kent is getting heavily attacked. Here is Representative Don Bacon. Good riddance. Iran has murdered more than 1,000 Americans. Their EFP landmines were the deadliest in Iraq. So now we're blaming them for the Iraq war. Anti-Semitism is an evil I detest, and we surely don't want it in our government. So now Joe Kent is anti-Semitic because he walked away. You see how this works? Anybody who's against going to war for Israel apparently is anti-Semitic. It's just crazy. It's wild at this point in time. He's not the only one. Apparently, Donald Trump reached out to George W. Bush, of all people, asking him for help and insight on the war with Iran. You guys realize there's a reason why none of these other presidents decided to go to war with Iran? Because they knew that this would be a clusterfuck. They knew it would be a disaster. Apparently, George W. Bush has nothing to say to Donald Trump. Per NBC News, the president
What are you reporting?
My manager and I was going to check on one of the guests here that was having a problem with, and he said we need medical assistance here now.
Okay, is one moment. Let me get you over to TFT, okay?
Okay. Fire medical aid.
South Sound with a transfer it. One moment.
I call her. What's the emergency there? So my manager and I was going to check on a guest in the room, and he just called me down and said, please call medical assistance right now. Okay, what room number? 520. We need medical. Oh my God. We need assistance now. So I've got a unit heading your way, but I need some more information to know if I need to send additional units or what. Yes. What's going on with the person? We need an ambulance here. It's real bad. Tell me what's going on. Okay, but the person's breathing? No. The person is not breathing?
Hi, I'm the housekeeping supervisor here at the Holiday Inn Express, and we have a side in one of our units.
You have a side in one of your units. So the person is deceased?
Yes.
In August 2024, Hector Gonzalez, 27 years old, drove up from Oregon to Tacoma for what was supposed to be a simple weekend out with friends. That night, they ended up at Dream Girls at Fox's, a local strip club, where Hector met a dancer going by the name Marnay. By the end of the night, they had made a plan to meet later. Hector sent $1,500 through Zelle, and the moment that money hit, she sent her boyfriend one text, a heart emoji. 2 suspects, 1 dancer, a man waiting in the shadows, and a night prosecutors say was planned from the very beginning. More than a year later, the couple prosecutors said turned that late-night meetup into a deadly setup would be convicted. This is the full story, and you're watching Hidden Crime Network. Hector Gonzalez Jimenez was 27 years old, living in Oregon, and by all accounts, just a young man looking to have a good weekend. He and a group of friends made the drive up to Tacoma, Washington. Nothing unusual about it. A weekend away, some drinks, some laughs. Like many visitors that passed through the city, they ended up at a local strip club.
Everybody goes to the strip club around here. You know what they do? Do they really? Yeah. They go to the strip club. Ain't nothing else to do. You got the vampire club and the strip club.
To sort of reiterate why I post so much content about the Charlie Kirk
And the strip club is a
situation.
vampire club.
So it's a lot going on in the comment section. I was going back and forth with this person over the past 10 minutes, and I just decided to stop. And I can just address this at the very beginning so people can understand, and you can decide if you want to stick around and watch my videos or not. And obviously a lot of you all will, because you're invested in this. The person was telling me that Candace Owens is a part of the show. If I'm a real Christian, then I shouldn't be participating in it by constantly talking about it and entertaining this entire, he didn't use the word, but essentially the psyop. Here's my response. I appreciate you for meaning well. You also mentioned the fact that I sell Jesus merch. And if I really care about guiding people towards Jesus Christ, then I wouldn't entertain this foolishness. Allow me to explain to you why majority of my content these days have been about the Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk, TPUSA debacle. As I've expressed many times before, I'm going to express it again here. I truly believe that this Charlie Kirk situation is the modern day JFK. That has a lot of implications because a lot of things changed after JFK was allegedly taken out. And as I've said before, I'm working on a documentary. I'm just waiting on the research to come back so that I can put this documentary together and complete it, so that I can draw some parallels to explain to people when these major events happen in our country, we suffer behind it. There are certain policies and things that take place, and even wars that are attached to these things that take place, usually after this person or after a major event took place. JFK, 2001, we all know what happened in New York City with the 2 buildings. And here we have, or even Martin Luther King Jr., and here we have Charlie Kirk. I think people don't fully quite understand what's taking place now, and maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you'll understand why I post about it so much and I didn't stop talking about it. Because this is a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal. Whether Charlie Kirk really passed away or not, there's good evidence to believe that he did, and there's good evidence to believe that he probably did not. Even if Candace Owens is playing a role and she's a character in all of this, and she's a part of the PSYOP, that doesn't change the specificities or the granularities of the of the situation in itself, right? And it's important that we steer people in the correct direction. And the correct direction is, of course, ultimately Jesus Christ. But what I mean is, specifically to this situation is being used as a catalyst to push certain agendas onto the people, and we're seeing it coming directly from the White House, right? So this is important, especially if we have reason to believe that this is a cover-up. Whether Charlie Kirk was or is in on it or not, I believe this is a cover-up, right? And I believe that Erica Kirk is and has played a significant role, allegedly. This is extremely important. Part of the reason that I believe this is some of the news that just came out in the last 24 hours, such as we've all been led to believe that Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk met each other in 2018.
Whoa, okay.
We all know about the infamous dinner that they had, for the job interview, et cetera, et cetera. What a lot of people are not understanding about that situation is that, first of all, that's weird. Candace spoke about that earlier today. But we have reason to believe that Erica actually met Charlie before 2018. Shout out to Project Constitution. Let's check out what Andrew Kovic said here.
To the Candace question. Obviously, you know, I'm on team you shouldn't be attacking widows. I don't think that gives somebody blanket immunity forever. I've never suggested that. Bible's very clear, just for people that are curious, that, you know, going after widows is a really bad idea. And,
no.
And
that's way too even straw man the Bible, right? The scriptures does not speak holistically against speaking out against widows, right? And there is a difference between a widow and a grieving widow and a guilty widow, right? So Andrew Kovic, is the reason why you only talk to people that agree with you, that are in the echo chamber. There's a reason you won't have a conversation, especially on camera, with anyone that challenges the narrative, because your argument will crumble under the slightest of scrutiny. For example, if it turns out that a widow...
Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
By the racetrack. Close to the airport. You know?
Okay.
On Mapleton Parkway.
Alright.
Yeah. Coming down the hill.
Hey, Caesar.
Yes, I should be
So
there.
you got too far from here. I'm heading outside right now, so
Alright.
it doesn't do any case where I left either, so it's supposed to be an eerie. I know one time she got to go home. I know one thing. I'm 5 minutes, it's only give me three, not 3.5, 3.
Seems like, yeah, they only gave you 3.
Huh?
They only gave you 3.
Yeah.
So you can file grievance on the other half?
Yeah, I'm guaranteed 3.5.
Right.
Not only guaranteed 3.5 on later. You're guaranteed 3.5. So last couple years ago, I thought on it. She said, "You're only guaranteed 3.5." I was fine because she sent Beverly home early. I mean, sent me home early, and the next day, Beverly's like, she sent Beverly home late. I mean, early. And then, she Jen's like, one time, she didn't send her home late. I mean, she didn't send her home early either. So I might agree with her, and she asked me, "You're guaranteed 3.5." Well, you're right, I ain't getting 3.5 today.
Yeah.
That's my plan. So I'm gonna take my thing tomorrow and see if you have to take 3.5. Let me ask you a question. If they see me home for being late, I'm guaranteed 3.5 still, right? If I'm late. Alright.
Yeah, the guarantee's no good.
Yeah. The guarantee's no good. You're late, it's waiver. You ain't supposed to be messing with us when you're late. You must be sent home. And see, that's what the other person did. That's why I ain't gonna do that. I said, well, she gave me something that's only 3. She said, yeah, if you're late, she already don't mean to it. But I'm still gonna see Miss Jesse here a lot.
Just gotta make sure you're on time, huh?
Yep. No, I ain't doing that. I just call in and get 4 hours release, you know?
True.
My thing is, and Miss Jess's been out getting what out of me, so if you send me home late, so I'm late, I still got one more thing on Miss Jess. So if you tell her late, she got to go home at 3, 2. So after 7, so she should be leaving. So see, after 10 at least, right?
Yeah.
So, so, our supervisor's name is Charlie B. Charlie B, that woman right around the blonde hair, short blonde hair. No. Charlie B's got blonde hair. She's out there in a mule. She's taking me home calling late. Yeah.